All right, guys, welcome back to another amazing show. This is the Marketing Roundtable. This is where we're going to have some amazing conversations today, guys. We're going to talk about what we call OTT. Now,
Say what?
Say what? What is that?
Is that the same as OPP?
I wish.
If you're not down with OTT in these days, Nick, you ain't down.
That's right.
Stupid asses. All right, guys. I have my esteemed co-host, Mr. Jake Wolf, Mr. Nick Sackis. Before we get to the show, here's our intro. Okay, gentlemen, I want to quickly dive into something really quick. One off, Mr. Jake Wolf, you have taken a little bit of time off, a little personal time. You've made a major shift in your life. Tell us what you've done.
Yeah, so I took my own advice, right? So the housing market is at an extreme high level, and we've seen some massive increase in equitable positions. So I just went ahead and sold my properties. Went ahead and got liquid and went on a road trip, started traveling America and visiting some friends and family. And when I started plotting the straight line, I looked back now after I've arrived down here into the hurricane with Mr. Nick yesterday. My line
You
was
brought the hurricane, my friend.
I did. I told you I was going to do it.
Stupid. I love it. So you made a move from Reno and you moved all the way across the country, and you're now in Central Florida, and you're loving life. Nick has been there forever. Nick has been like, I've been telling you, motherfucker, it's going to be nice down here. And you're like, yep, I understand that now. Now, Jake, you did something very interesting there. I'm going to, get Nick in, and then we're going to jump into what OTT is. Jake, you had an interesting evening last night. What was your mode of entertainment last night?
It was a nice little hurricane. So I wanted to experience it in a unique fashion, and something from the movie Forrest Gump went ahead and came up. So I was just doing a little bit of Lieutenant Dan reenactments, just saying hello to this nice little hurricane that blew in. I'll let you fill in the rest of the blanks, Rick McDaniel.
I have no comment on that one. That's just absolutely hilarious. Nick Sackis, the ever-shrinking man. How are you, my friend?
Doing fantastic. The hurricane, we're about, 20, maybe 30 miles away from you, Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we barely got any rain over here, which was very interesting. But I did have a screen enclosure. One of the biggest portions of my screen actually blew down. It looks like a flag. So we went out there and saluted it this morning. Broken screen enclosure due to Hurricane Jake Wolf, I'm going to call it. It wasn't Elsa. It was Hurricane Jake. So I'll be sending you a bill, my friend.
That's all right. Bring it on. We're good.
I love it. I love it. Gentlemen, I'm so glad we're all here today. I was talking with Jake earlier, and I got the alarm on my phone. It's like, you have 10 minutes until your podcast. I'm like, shit. Totally forgot about that. Been on calls all morning. But we're here. We're going to talk about OTT. What in the flying fuck balls is OTT, Jake?
We thought that next year was going to be the year of OTT advertising. So let's kind of talk about it a little bit. OTT stands for over the top television. And the old school days of doing radio, doing television type advertising, you used to be able to go ahead and purchase maybe your commercial spots on cable networks or television channels based upon, and the price would be based upon the viewership during certain times. Same way with radio. So OTT stands for over the top television. And now it's really connected to a lot of these super smart televisions that everybody's bringing home. Okay, so what happens? So a husband and a wife goes to Costco and they say, honey, look at that beautiful 65-inch ultra high def television for $500. So they bring it home. And now they have this big, beautiful television that, and I know some of you in the audience remember the days that it was almost like taking out a college fund to go ahead and get a television of that size, but not anymore. So a lot of people now have smart TVs. You can't typically walk out of an establishment like Costco without having some type of smart television device. So you bring it home, you plug it into the outlet, and then it says, hello, thank you for purchasing me, and connect me to the internet. Now, once you do connect it to your wireless internet inside of your home, it says download your favorite channels. So now people are like, oh, I can download Discovery, Nat Geo, HGTV, all of these cool things. So all of those channels now that you're viewing are streaming in app, okay, which gives us an opportunity to go ahead and purchase demand side 15, 30-second commercials and put it onto those televisions inside the home. So OTT is part of our location-based display advertising and geofencing realms, but now all of the smart TVs inside of people's homes are susceptible to our advertising. And so what's really nice is now, since it's so new, we're able to go ahead and purchase advertising at an introductory level before I would say all of the fat cats smoking cigars go ahead and get into the game. So a lot of the real estate agents that are working with us are having a fantastic time. We're able to really kind of penetrate the homes and get onto those smart TVs, 15, 30-second commercials. So that's what it's about. And we do it, Greg, when somebody's viewing. So if the device, the television itself, we know when somebody turns it on, and then we know when somebody actually goes into one of those channels and starts viewing. And at that point, our intelligence network is able to go ahead and demand side purchase commercials and place it in front of your audience. So it gives us a little bit more control instead of the old days of hoping and praying that somebody's listening to 96.5 FM during 4 to 5 in rush hour and listening to your commercials. The other nice thing we like about it, Greg, is that on a lot of these channels and programs, you can't fast forward. So the cable networks that have TiVo boxes and different things where they're pre-recorded, they can go ahead and fast forward through those channels, or if somebody has it on pause. These guys are different. And so OTT, another big statistic was prior to the pandemic, we saw right around 20% of American households had an OTT device. After the pandemic, now we're seeing upwards of 70% of American households are running an OTT television inside of their home. So audience has dramatically grown. We've seen a huge adaption. A lot of people are purchasing new televisions, and we're able to go ahead and aggressively target those.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I want to go deeper on that a little bit more, but we have, it looks like Chef Gene Velope is here. How are you, man? What you doing?
Listen, I forgot, dude. I'm so sorry. I just had to check in with you. So you guys know that my wife's grandmother passed away last week. And if you're Italian, you know what the following week looks like. And it sort of looks like wine. I heard Jake talking about fat cats smoking cigars. We'll be doing that later with some whiskey. And I'm doing the cooking. There's a lot of meatballs, man. A lot of meatballs, a lot of pastas happening. There's going to be about 45 people here at the house. So I'm sorry.
Hey, never apologize for family, my friend. Never apologize for family. That's the beautiful part about it. I think, Nick and Jake, when it comes down to marketing, that's something that people need to be aware of, right? So if something takes place in a personal way in someone's life, you could use OTT or just, geofencing. You can send your condolences or something along those lines. I mean, this is a little bit morbid, and Gene, I'm not trying to take advantage of your situation, so please forgive me if I'm being an asshole. And I probably am.
I just thought of a new nickname for Gene. I can't. I'm sorry. We got Chef Boyardee over here, but instead of Chef Boyardee, it's Chef Bald Volpe. How about that? It's got a nice ring to it. Again,
I've been called so much worse. I'll take that. And listen, this week with my family members. What's that, Jake?
Sorry to hear about your loss, my friend.
Thank you. I know we haven't talked in a week, and I literally was making gravy, and my phone was going off. I'm like, why does everybody need me right now? And I stop making, I pull it out, and it says, missed call from Greg McDaniel. I'm like, oh shit, it's 1:30. So sorry, boys. I apologize, but I'm sure you understand.
All good, my friend. All good.
All good. Let's talk about this. And Gene, you stay on as long as you want to or can. It's no big deal. I know that you're sipping the vino and enjoying the meatballs, which I'm very envious of, by the way. If only I have vino, but it's not full. It's an old bottle. But let's break down OTT. What's your opinion on that, Gene? And then Jake, Nick, I want to bring it back to you. So OTT, Gene, how would you utilize this from kind of what you heard Jake talking about?
I didn't catch much of it, so you have to get me up to snuff.
Okay, we'll bring that back to Nick. Nick, give me your opinion on OTT.
Yeah, so I love one thing that Jake said about buying a 65-inch TV from Costco for $500 and how that didn't used to be the case. I know very well because that used to be my lane, right? 10 to 12 years ago, I was the guy selling you the 65-inch plasma for $5,000 at Sound Advice here at a local establishment that I worked for, I don't know, I think I was there 5 or 6 years out of high school. So yeah, TV prices have gone crazy. I still have a 65-inch Panasonic plasma that was $5,000 back then. So very, very interesting stuff. But yeah, so you guys have heard me talk a lot about branding and marketing your message. Like having the right message is extremely important nowadays, whether you're talking to your database, just social media in general. And OTT kind of fits into that ecosystem of, all right, if you've clarified your message, where do you distribute that message, right? And like Jake said, the adoption rate is crazy because the TV prices have come down so much. Or you could just go buy one of those Roku sticks for $20 or $30 and retroactively fit, like my 65-inch plasma. We have a Roku box on there, so we've retroactively fitted that. So more and more people are getting used to this in-app. Getting rid of the cable TV, the bloated packages, because we only really watch 5 or 10 channels anyway, so you might as well go directly to those channels. And it's an excellent opportunity to be able to put your message in front of those people at the right time. Now, one thing that you have to be careful of, you can have the powerful tools. You can have, go to Clever Leads and talk to Jake and have him put a commercial out for you. But you have to kind of take a step back and realize that if you're going to spend money on marketing, if you're going to spend money on a broadcast style marketing, whether it's social media, Facebook, YouTube, OTT, whatever, you have to have a clear message. You have to have a clear call to action. You have to be clear. It's not just about putting up a slideshow video with your logo in the corner that sounds like every other real estate agent. You have to get really clear on how do you cut through the noise? How do you get people to pay attention to you? And what are you really offering the consumer when they're sitting there with their remote control and their wine in their hand, making gravy in the kitchen? How do you cut through that noise? So you can have the platform, but you got to have the purpose behind it. You have to have the real offer behind it.
That's a really good point. So, Gene, now that we're talking about OTT, kind of soak this in a little bit as you suck down the vino and cook the meatballs. Jake, break it down for me really quickly. I mean, a lot of people are afraid to be on camera. So how are you going to circumvent that when people are going to take you up on these TV commercials?
Yeah, so it's brand forward, right? So much of this is. Nick is spot on. When you're talking about a pitch and trying to get your brand across, most of our consumers, especially home sellers, are always thinking about what's in it for me, right? So if you have a way to go ahead and organize your business in such a fashion to where there's some type of personal convenience that you're able to go ahead and pass along to people, or a financial convenience, you're going to be able to bridge the threshold a little bit better, right? But for folks that are very intimidated as far as getting on to video and talking, there's ways that we go about this differently. There's a lot of B-roll type video. We have over 1 million professional B-roll folks that we can go ahead and blend into your message and then have your brand, and we can bring in different banners. So our team over here at Clever Leads helps build out all of your commercial sets for you guys, and we can kind of personally organize it. And then once it's ready to go, then we just take it to the specific market that you want to go to. And there's a lot of options there. So I understand completely.
So OTT is something that really is something that's going to be. Do you guys feel that like with the three of you guys on the show right now, along with me, do you feel this is something that agents should be pushing towards, or kind of watching to see what happens? And I mean, I have my opinion. I think that people should be, throttle down like 1,000% forward, just crush skulls, because I mean, you're literally on TV in front of these people that are sitting watching their favorite Netflix or Hulu shows or whatever this streaming service that they're going to be using. Talk about being visible on a consistent basis. And then you do a geofence, then you do a postcard, then you have a phone call, then you have a text message. I mean, then you do a pop by. I mean, this is legendarily strong.
Well, here's a big statistic to go ahead and think about. And everybody that's watching right now, think about how often you sit down with your wonderful husband or beautiful bride at the end of the day. So the statistics are telling us that nationally, a television is on inside of a home for 4 to 6 hours every single day of the week. So if you are wanting to get a message in front of somebody into a certain home addressably, gives you a wonderful opportunity to do so. You're going to get your message across. You are going to talk to the people. It always comes back to, what are you saying to them? So it's a big opportunity, Greg.
It is a huge opportunity. Gene looks very perplexed, and I wish I could take a screenshot of this right now, because he's like one of those like a gopher, like you got caught in like a gopher cam.
Do it right now. Take a screenshot.
Okay, I will. I'll do it. Hold on. Wait.
The thumbnail for the show.
Good for marketing.
Hey, do it. I got it. But I mean, in regards to like kind of this opportunity, Gene, weigh in on this a little bit on OTT, so that we can kind of understand your point of view as we see your nose whiskers. And then, I want to take it that, oh God, I really meant that as a joke. But I mean, how would you utilize OTT in conjunction with other marketing?
I don't know that how I would utilize it yet, but here's what I would say. I'm a big fan of the speed to market, right? This is one of those things like sort of like cryptocurrency. So when people are going, I see this thing making noise, and I know it's something that we could do, and I know it's something that's real and tangible, but I don't know how to do it, and I don't know how to buy the crypto. It's hard to get onto some of these wallets, and it's very confusing. If you spend the time to figure it out, you get in the market before anybody else does. And when you marry that with risk versus reward, there's a very low risk for what could potentially be a high reward. Like again, I'll stick to crypto. So I'm out buying these coins right now. I'm spending $100, but they're so low in price because nobody knows how to get them and nobody knows what they are, and they're hard to find. They're not on the open exchange. So I'm buying $100 worth of stuff that's getting me 700 million coins. If the price of those coins goes to 1 penny, I'm going to be a millionaire multi times over. So my risk is $100. My reward is maybe nothing, but it could also be a coin that shoots up to 0.00006 cents, and I make 10 grand. So for speed to market for this OTT stuff, when you have people out there that are going, I don't know what OTT is, it's an opportunity. Two things. One, it's probably going to be cheaper for you to purchase right now, which is always exciting to me. And two, if you figure out how to play it, it's going to be something that nobody else is really doing. So for me, I'll put that in my wheelhouse and say, you guys know what OTT is? Like when I'm giving my listing presentation, I'd say, do you know what OTT is? Here, let me give you a brief synopsis. Here's how I do it. Here's how it plays a role into when we're going to sell your house or how we're going to find your house. And literally, I know the costs right now are nothing compared to what they're going to be, because once it catches on and everybody's doing it, there's a higher demand, the price goes up, right? So for me, the risk reward factor in it is this. Go spend 6 hours figuring it out, or call Jake and let him explain it to you, and then get on and get out of your own way. And by the way, a great tool for, let me do this. A great tool for getting out of your own way if you're afraid to be on video is this little medicine right here. So what I always tell my agents is, listen, have a glass of wine with me first. Let's talk about what your videos are going to look like. You're not going to be slurring in them, but I guarantee by the time we get to the video, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be looser, and you're going to be more lucid, and it's going to sound great, and you don't care the camera's on. So risk reward, early entry into market. Why wouldn't you do it right now? Because whenever you see that there's something out there that nobody else is doing, there's an opportunity in your market to take it over and be the first adopter of it. Not a bad thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, one of the things that I did back in 2018, I had a radio show on one of the biggest radio stations here in the San Francisco Bay Area called KBO 810. And this thing is a 50,000 watt just beast. I mean, we went from the Oregon border all the way down to Central California. And I would have 50 to 100,000 people listening to me every Sunday morning. and it was something that I invested in because nobody else was doing it. That's the same thing with OTT. It could be with geofencing. It could be with anything else. And that's where I think what we're talking about here, besides OTT, is the fact of just thinking outside the box. Gentlemen, would you agree with me on that one a little bit?
Yeah, Greg. Let me jump in on that because I want to say one more thing real quick.
Okay, Wineface.
Imagine all like tell me how many times you went in to a listing presentation, and even though maybe that listing, maybe the radio show didn't get you quantifiable leads, maybe it did, but how many times did you win a listing or at least impress the people you're trying to impress with are you listening to 850? Have you ever, oh my God, I've heard you Sundays in the morning, that's you? Like, there's an element of, if you know how to do that and you're the one doing it, you become more like, I always joke about the op-ed. Like, you get that magazine that comes from your local community, right? We get something called the Main Line Today.
Right.
And you get to page 38 and it's a 5-page spread on some real estate agent talking about the strength of the market, why it's important to set your people up with assets, right? And when people read that, they go, wow, that dude's got a piece in the middle of the Main Line Today that goes out to 150,000 people. In the meantime, you know what I know about it? He paid a shit ton of money for that and had somebody write it for him, right? So, like, I know that there's opportunity in just saying, I have this. You know what I mean? Like, I did it. Nobody else is doing it. I got a show on 850. Are you listening? You heard me? That to me is powerful marketing as well. Not just the fact that you're hitting 100,000 people, right?
Oh, it was more powerful than anything else on God's green earth. And Nick, I know you're dying over here. I know you want to jump in. Let me finish this, and I'm going to let you run like a wild steed through the forest. The thing is that, like, when I quit my radio show because they upped our prices and everything else, I went to open houses, and all the different agents, bye, Gene just bailed. You know, people would come up to me, all these agents, like, oh my God, we'd listen to your show every morning. It was amazing. What happened? Yada, yada. We'd walk down the street. People would be like, I recognize that voice. And I'm like, mine? So it is very apparent that this type of marketing is very, very usable in every marketplace. Nick, work with me a little bit on this one, because I have a couple of ideas that I want to talk about on this, but I want to get you in.
Yeah, I'll get into a strategy.
Yeah, let's go, bro.
So there's levels to the game. And so let's talk about the idea that there might be, let's say there's 15,000 agents in your marketplace. Everybody wants to stand out. Everybody wants to be different, but nobody does anything different. So step one of standing out in your marketplace of 15,000 agents is just committing to doing some kind of video. Automatically, you're going to eliminate probably 75% of the agents in your market just from you saying, I'm going to turn on the camera and create offers and get my brand and my voice in front of the marketplace. That's level one. Do that on Facebook, do that on Instagram, do that on YouTube. Just be social on social media with video, already eliminating a ton of agents. The next level of that, which is going to be the 1% of people in their marketplace, is strategically using video through campaigns. What I mean by that is not just going on your Facebook newsfeed and turning on a video randomly when you're at an open house with no thought or anything behind it. And this kind of goes back to what Gene was talking about in being strategic in your marketing. And you might go to a listing appointment and not necessarily have gotten that listing appointment because that person heard you on the radio, but it's a compliment. So thinking about an overall strategy, you have a plan, you have an offer that you've created with myself or Jake or Gene. You know confidently that the market is going to respond to that offer. How do you amplify that message? Through video. Now you have a video created organically on your social media platforms. You know you're getting some traction. Now you're going to put paid advertising behind that. So 2 different campaigns that we usually run: buyer leads, seller leads. Nobody cares about buyer leads anymore in the market that we're in. It's red hot. Everybody wants the seller lead. What's a way for you to stand out and be completely alone in your marketplace, but to run a seller campaign? And when you get those sellers to go to your seller specific landing page that gives that exact unique offer to them, and even if they don't fill out the form, then they go to their TV and now they're watching Discovery Channel and they see you on commercial on their TV. You want to talk about the power? Now they've gone from their mobile device to their television at home with branding and the same message across all those channels. The likelihood of that person looking at you as an authority in the market and a professional listing agent, and the only person that can sell their house because you have a great offer and because you hit them multiple times, it's inevitable. Now you're in the top 0.1% of 1% of agents in your marketing with a basic strategy that any of us on this call could implement for you.
Amen.
Damn, that was some hammer you just dropped right there. Good Lord. Jake, thoughts?
One thing I love about OTT advertising right now. So real estate agents have, most people spend money on postcards, right? Some people like it more than others. But if you're going to go ahead and set up a postcard campaign once a month, it goes out to, let's say, 1,000 or 2,000 people. Now you're running almost into the exact same cost of OTT advertising, but let's talk about the price here a little bit. $1,000 bill of OTT advertising will put out 20,000 15 or 30-second commercials of your brand. When that same $1,000 bill roughly will get to, let's say, about 1,800 homes for that one impression. So there's a lot of opportunity for exposure, and it gives you that 15 to 30-second opportunity. Like, you know, we're all huge fans of video here, and brand is so important. There's a lot of different ways to do it, right? So you can go ahead and run, let's say that you're sitting at a listing presentation. Now you can go ahead and expose that listing. You can have a nice 15, 30-second listing opportunity or a presentation on commercials, and then get it out to prospective buyers inside of a geolocation. Or if you're wanting to farm a certain neighborhood, we can find all of the OTT televisions inside of a certain neighborhood and start putting specific messages about that neighborhood or various different facts or tips or just even brand awareness. There's so many opportunities here to get creative because we can strategically go ahead and target audiences. So if you have $1,000 in your back pocket, it would be worth right now to go ahead and run OTT advertising with a strategic campaign before the big fat cats go ahead and get into the marketplace and drive up the advertising, because it's going to come, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have about, I would say, a good 12 months of a wonderful opportunity to go ahead and really get your brand out before all of a sudden this cost starts driving up. It's new. It's very new. Like we said, we thought next year was going to be the year of OTT advertising. However, now is the time, and there's going to be other influencers that come in. So, and it's not just real estate. So this type of advertising, let's say you have landscaping companies or chiropractors, different small businesses in local areas, law firms, you name it. All of the commercials, the car dealerships, if those people are competing, once they start coming in towards this OTT advertising, the price just continues to go ahead and go up, right? So you have to go ahead and purchase your placements because you guys are all competing against the same audience. So now's the time, opportunity.
So when it comes to, you know, timeframes and price increases, I mean, what's that going to potentially look like? I know none of us have crystal balls. I understand that kind of came out wrong, but you know what I mean. In regards to just the future of everything, when it comes to cost, where we're at today and where we're going to be tomorrow, are we looking at a dramatic shift? Are we looking at a small shift? What is that going to look like for the average consumer? And again, we're all average consumers, right? Just, you know, how can we put more money in our pockets and become more visible? And is this a better opportunity, cost per visibility versus a postcard versus a call versus anything else? Help me understand that a little bit.
Absolutely, it is. To be able to put a 15 or 30-second commercial on a television that you know is running for 4 to 6 hours a day with whatever you want to go ahead and put out there is very powerful for less than what the cost is for a postcard right now, ladies and gentlemen. So that's, and then we're talking about strategic opportunities to put it into somebody's home addressably if they have that smart television, and then mirror it with pre-roll type opportunity, which pre-roll, for everybody that doesn't know, is a lot like your YouTube advertisements running before the actual video you click on. So addressably utilizing geofencing technology, you can go ahead and have pre-roll videos just like your 15, 30-second commercials running on major sports, major news, video embeds. So wonderful opportunity, Greg. So it's more than what can fit on a postcard, a 15 or 30-second commercial. So once again, just like we always say, We're the bridge to the people. We're your communication bridge. It always will come back to what are you saying to them? And I know a lot of times here on the Marketing Roundtable, we talk about what are those hooks to go ahead and get somebody interested, gather their attention. But video is so powerful. How many times, Nick, have we been, just about every show we've been on for months and months, we talk about the power of video. And this is important. So your 15, 30-second commercial is your video, but we're talking strategic placement, demand side. So there will be people that take this opportunity, and then there will be those that don't. They drag their feet, but that's just human nature. And you got to give it a shot. You got to do it for your business if you want to grow it.
Yeah,
Listen,
there's
the competition's doing it. I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? These big tech companies that are around that are trying to eat your guys' lunch, or, you know, if you go to any real estate group, and I'm in all of them, right? The argument is as old as time, is like, are these real estate tech companies trying to eliminate the agents? And people get so like bent out of shape and like, oh, well, we're professionals and we're never going to be out of the deal. And all this, like, people get so uptight about it. I'm going to tell you, from my perspective, you're right. Real estate agents won't be out of the deal, but you're going to be working for these tech companies. You're not going to have an independent brokerage. You're not going to be able to make $1 million a year with a big team. You're going to be a clerk at Zillow for making $50,000 a year plus bonuses, like you're on a big team, if you don't wake up and break out of your shell and start putting your message to the marketplace. Because what's happening right now is these tech companies are gobbling up market share like crazy. You go to any of these platforms, you can go on Facebook and see what they're advertising. There's spy software that you can do online. You can see how many millions of dollars and how many thousands of ads these companies are running every single day that are getting impressions on your customers, on your database. So if you're not putting yourself out there on social media and so much, you know, OTT, and having a strategic marketing plan, if you're happy with being an employee, then you're going to be an employee real estate agent, but you're not going to be an independent, you know, 1099 owning your own company type person. You're just going to work for a large team that's already dominated the market, that's figured this stuff out, or you're going to work for a tech company. That's going to be the only two. There's going to be mega teams and brokerages and tech companies, and the individual single agent real estate person that's used to making $10 million a year or selling $10 million, like, that's going to fade away real fast.
When you say fast, define fast.
10 years.
Okay, so we have a 10-year runway.
Maximum 10 years. 5 years is really going to be the wake-up call.
Okay,
it's already happened. It's happening. It's happened, right?
Yeah, it is happening right now. We
if
see.
If you're an individual agent, and you're making $6 to $10. If you're selling $6 to $10 million a year as an individual agent, you're like happy and comfortable there. Like, those are the people that are going to be hit the hardest. You're either going to have to go work for a big expansion team and be part of an ecosystem, or you're going to wake up, really take hold of your database and the people that know, like, and trust you, and provide value to those people and be in front of those people so that they know why do I call, you know, Greg McDaniel over Zillow? Like, if you don't tell them why, they're going to call Zillow because it's a comfortable brand. Like, it's synonymous with real estate now, and they're not the only one. You know, OfferPad and Knock and all these other companies are out there creating better marketing messages, and people are just adopting to it. We're in the world of Amazon, of big brands being comfortable with these big brands. You need to be the local hero and educate these people why you can do the same thing as these big brands. You can offer the same services, but if you don't say it, you're going to be forgotten.
So that brings up a really good question that I have here. I'm taking notes as we're going through this thing. Our good friend Todd Ashton, he and I are working together, and he's teaching me how to buy properties all over the country off of tax liens, back tax liens, for literally cents on a dollar. So it's doing real estate, but it's doing it in a completely different way. You got to look them up. It's absolutely incredible. But with that in mind, I mean, Jake, I want to take this question to you really quickly, since you're kind of the OTT master on this because you're running them right now. And obviously, Nick dropped hammer on knowledge on kind of the future of where the real estate business is going. You can change. Can we change the ads at any given time for OTT, or do they run for a specific amount of time?
They're pretty flexible, especially through my team. So we can go ahead and shut things down and and modify if necessary. If there's most of the time we like to go ahead and run it over a certain period of time and let it go and do a lot of the pre-work beforehand. But if there needs to be a change, then so be it. Yeah, Greg. I can tell you what, I want to talk about something that Nick said as far as the tech disruption that's coming in. So we've done a big study over here on the Clever Lead side of the house as far as all of the different tech organizations and the different money that's backing them, and they're legitimate businesses, right? So, and it does get into the way of the real estate agent or the teams and the old school ways of how we've done business. However, it is important to go ahead and get your message out there now. Just like Tony said here, become as Tom Cruise famous as you possibly can in your local area. You have to be taking the action. These big tech companies are already inside the homes talking to these people unbeknownst to you. How many times have you guys went ahead and drove through a neighborhood and all of a sudden you see the Redfin sign in the yard? It's already done before you even knew it. They're in there talking. So if you're running a business, you have to take action. You have to formulate plans, get your brand out there. All of these companies, ladies and gentlemen, there's a couple things that they're doing. One is about personal convenience or financial convenience. All right. So the standard listings at a certain percentage, they're undercutting to talk about most experienced agents in a local area, 2% listing opportunities and various different financial conveniences. So you need to look at what you have available to yourself, what you can do, what is your hook, and you have to be taking those actionable steps and getting in the house of these prospective sellers because your competitors are doing it. The big tech is doing it. So
yeah, it's visibility. And our good friend Tony, he wants you to say in character, do you feel lucky, punk? Go ahead.
Do you feel lucky, punk?
Go ahead, make my day.
Go ahead, Tony, make my day.
No, but you're 100% right. I mean, all jesting aside, in regards to visibility, a lot of agents and just humans, we think people are just going to call us because everybody knows us, and that's couldn't be further from the truth. And it is getting in front and staying in front of people as much as humanly possible. I started this podcast 6+ years ago with my good friend Matt Johnson. And, with the live videos on Beers and Calls that I do for prospecting, which I actually get to start again today, which I'm really excited about. People come up to me all over the place and say, oh my God, I watch all the stuff that you do. Thanks so much. And people at conferences, they find me and I'm sitting there just like sitting in the back row, just kind of chilling. But it is about visibility. And when it comes to buyers and sellers, it appears to me, if you have geofencing plus OTT plus, text message, emails, calls, the whole gamut of in the arsenal when it comes to, staying relevant, you're going to win the game. Now, is big tech going to take a chunk of it? Abso-fucking-lutely. Are they going to take your chunk of it? That's really fucking up to you. I mean, you could sit there and let the entire neighborhood go to shambles. But if you can maintain your portion of it because you're staying relevant, that's the biggest thing. And gentlemen, relevancy is the biggest thing we're talking about, right?
It's brand awareness. The person that
at bats,
yeah,
you don't have enough at bats.
Yeah. At bats. Jake, what were you saying?
It's brand. Ye who has the best brand that's closest to the consumer will win at the end of the day. Always will.
So let's talk about brand for half a second. I know we're kind of winding down here. We'll be out of here in a couple of minutes. But what would a brand look like for a new agent or someone who's trying to redevelop themselves? It doesn't have to be super glossy and shiny with all these cool, ding-dangs and everything else attached to it. Or is it just purely to the fact, like, my brand is that I wear a T-shirt, a hoodie, a baseball hat, shorts, and I walk a fucking dog. And you know what? I get business from it.
Yeah, I think people misunderstand it, right? The real estate agent is the individual real estate agent is the brand, right? So it's not the shiny, dressy corporate appearances that they have to do for their structure and their marketing industry. You ultimately, like like Nick's saying, it's at bats. It's about getting you out there. You are your brand, and being consistent, being an educational ambassador of your craft and your marketplace, sharing knowledge, being of value, being a resource, educating folks, just staying consistent with message. And that brand of you will go ahead and carry forward. You want to be thought of. So here's that moment, right? When a husband and a wife, when they're sitting down having a glass of wine and a steak dinner tonight, and somebody says, hey, darling, maybe we should sell our home. We've seen a tremendous amount of equitable position over the last couple of years increase. The housing market's crazy right now. Well, let's call a realtor. Honey, do you know a realtor? Well, if they don't, ladies and gentlemen, they go to that fine little marketplace called Google and they type in realtor. And then most of the time they associate themselves with a picture of a human being. And then they call them. So you need to be the person that's front and center, known as the person of your industry and your local area, and keep your personal brand rolling. It's not about how you dress. It's just about you as a real estate agent, as the professional. And you have to be utilizing all these marketing opportunities, OTT, social media, video, just working on behalf. And you know what? Give without even expecting in return. Just keep giving more and more and more. 10x your giving. Give to the people. Love the people. Don't expect anything in return. Just keep giving. And you watch to see how your brand's going to go ahead and come back and play.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the things people get hung up on, right? We talk about branding. It's like, I got to get my business cards done. I got to get my logo, right? That's the furthest thing from what needs to happen. You think about your brand, you think about how do you make people feel, right? Your branding is all around what are people going to say about you when you're not in the room? Okay. So if you think about that, it's not the logo that's on your website. It's how do you make people feel, the words that come out of your mouth, and what are they going to say when you're not around? If you can perfect the idea, if people know exactly who you are and can speak to what you do to other people when you're not around, you have a super strong brand. And that is the key moving forward. It's not about how many leads you can generate on Facebook. It's about how can you make people feel that you are the local hero in your market, so that when they're at a party, they say, you got to talk to Nick Sakis because he's the man in said subdivision.
Okay, that was fucking awesome. I love the shit out of that comment right there, Nick. You came through on that one hardcore. And I want to ask this one last question to both of you gentlemen. Is ugly pretty? And the reason why I say that is because there's a great book called Blue Fishing by shit, I forget his name, Ray or Gary or something like that. But the book is called Blue Fishing, and he does ugly, but it makes it pretty. So when my dad actually used to do this 50 years ago, literally 50 years ago, he would take the most horrific color of orange or yellow. It kind of looked like a tennis ball, like that was the paper color. And then he would send out newsletters on that color. Steve Sims, thank you, Tony. Steve Sims is the author of that book. And it stood out because no one else was doing it at such a high level. I mean, is there something there? I mean, and I'm not saying that, Jake, what you and your company are gonna create is gonna be ugly, but I mean, with OTT, if you create something so hyper different from everything else, is there value in that marketing idea? Gentlemen, your thoughts, please. I defer to you.
So acquisition of a customer, right? We are so distracted with everything that's coming at us. So you think about how we live our life on a daily basis. We have to get up, we have our own personal, we have to tend to, plus many of our business affairs and all of these different influences. What you're talking about, Greg, is that characteristic of gaining attention, right? And as soon as you have attention, now it's about what is the message to go ahead and actually acquire, get these people closer to a conversion. So yes, there's something to be said specifically about that, but you just need to be taking action. And right now, to be honest with you, I think the best way is to go ahead and educate and consistently educate your audiences on things that are going on. Look at all of this stuff here. If we just look back over the last 30 to 60 days on things that have changed, like forbearance moratoriums getting extended and mortgage rate changes or new construction or the the actual increases in inflation of different material, and there's so much, all the suggestions, all of the should know questions that you find yourself answering to people on a buyer or seller side, and all of those frequently asked questions during your process of dealing with a seller or a buyer. There's so much information to go ahead and share. And the person who decides to go ahead and step up and become the educator of all of these things will be very relevant, very brand forward. And I think that's the best way to go ahead and convert, because ultimately when a seller wants to go ahead and sell their home, they're going to want somebody that knows what they're doing, is very relevant, has good rapport inside their local community, and is somebody that can help them through the transaction ultimately in the end.
Yeah,
So.
I completely agree with you. Tony has a great quote here. Seth Godin's Purple Cow from many years ago has a good point. Among the brown and white cows, if you see one purple cow, you'll never forget it. Be the realtor. That's the purple cow. And I think that's a great idea. Nick, I want to let you take our final thoughts and kind of give your opinion. Then we're going to close this thing out. I need both of you guys to give me colors so that we can put a bow on the show. But Nick, give me your final thoughts.
I mean, so just by doing video, you're going to be purple cow. and you're like, that's it, right? Do video. So step one is get comfortable on camera, because people are going to do business with you, right? I'm not in a fancy high-rise condo building or anything like that. I'm in a bedroom of my house, and I do hundreds of deals every single year because people come to me because of my message, right? It's not the fanciness. I'm wearing a t-shirt, right? It's nothing. There's nothing fancy about this. It's the words that come out of my mouth. People resonate with it and they buy from me. Same thing with real estate. You have to, the one thing, the reason why I love video so much, and especially this might resonate with some people. If you're a single agent and you think you do everything the best, if you think you're the best negotiator, if you think you're the best presentation person, you think you're the best thing at all of your business, and you haven't hired out or delegated or built a team because you are the micromanager and you're the best at everything, then just duplicate yourself on video. If you know you're the best salesperson for your company, then create video and let that video be a representation of you. Every time you do a video, you're adding another salesperson. The best salesperson, by the way, because it's you on your team. So if you do 4 videos this week, you just hired 4 new salespeople to join your organization to spread your message in infinitum online. Get comfortable with video, get your offer down, spread your message more, let people come to you.
Perfect. I loved how you wrapped all that together. So guys, go check out Clever Lead spelled with a K, and my dyslexic ass spelled it poorly on the ticker. Jake had to verbally bitch smack me. So it is KLEVR leads.com. Take a look, talk to him about the OTT, the ads, how to be relevant. Go ahead and reach out to Nick for a lot of the stuff that he's doing in marketing in regards to, Facebook and paid ads, and kind of, putting these two together. We love you guys to pieces because we couldn't do the show without you guys. But I need a color from each one of you. Nick, what's your color for the bow for the show?
I'm going baby blue, because I think that was the color of Elsa, and we just had the hurricane, so I'll go baby blue.
That was odd. Okay, baby blue for Elsa.
I'm going to match that with a little bit of Coors Light silver.
So we'll go and say Elsa blue. How about that?
Okay, so we have baby blue for Elsa baby blue, and Coors Light silver. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the show. We truly appreciate you. We cannot do this without you guys. Please go to everywhere that you guys watch and listen to podcasts. Give us a 5-star, not a 2-star review, because that is going to help us get our algorithm kicking in. We're going to get put in front of more folks who are then going to be able to get this knowledge that these two amazing gentlemen, Mr. Jake Wolf and Mr. Nick Sackis, are dropping hammer on us right now. And Gene Volpe, if he wasn't drinking wine and cooking meatballs, he'd be here with us, but we love him to pieces. Guys, thank you. Also tag Nick or Jake or Gene in any of the comments out there. But until next time, guys, peace out, ninjas. We gone.